Okay, so YouTube is back on. Sorry about YouTube going out. I don't know what happened. But anyways, it seems like many of you can identify with going through some of these things. So Sharon just said, yeah, and the deja vu when it happened. So you had something similar to that? Like, did you have reoccurring dreams? Is that what happened to you? You had a reoccurring nightmare as a kid. Yeah, it can, I mean, it can happen in that way too, probably, right? Can I explain properly what a twin flame is? I think the problem is, hi Lucia, I'm well, thank you. How are you? I think that the term, unfortunately, is very commercialized and overused. And so this is where I kind of stay away from the label unless it's on cards or, on a specific prompt for a reading. Yeah, Mercury retrograde technology is acting up. True. I think that what people see twin flames as isn't what they actually are. We see it as something very romantic and polarizing, and it's crazy. It's a crazy feeling. But what it really is, it's an awakening of your soul. Somebody comes into your life to awaken you. And so it's not to say that you couldn't be together with somebody who is a twin flame or a deep soul connection. You can. The thing is that two people have to be in their own inner union in order to be in union with another person. Like you have to think about the cake analogy if you know the cake analogy, right? Like a twin flame would be like a mirror to heal your soul. That person comes in, no, I didn't end the live. The live quit. So it's, I don't know, Mercury retrograde, who knows? So no, I didn't quit the live on YouTube for those of you that are just joining back. What's the best way to get over twin flames? Well, that's something that's very hard to get over. You don't just get over it. You don't just get over it. Yeah, Sarah, we got into other deeper conversations, apparently. Bonsoir, how are you, Kelly? The the energy is something that stays with you your entire life, but it requires you to put yourself first and to find yourself and to have boundaries and to learn the lessons. You think the best way to get over someone is to get under someone? I mean, that works as a short-term gain and a long-term pain versus a short-term pain and a long-term gain, right? Hi, Jilzy. Happy Saturday. But most people look at it as romance, and the truth of the matter is that it's you having a soul awakening. I'm glad you like the cake analogy, Mish, because a lot of people, again, if you go to the cake analogy video that's pinned on my profile on TikTok or Instagram, and it is on YouTube as well. Hi, Shannon, how are you? Yes. Hi, Christine. The comments on that video just tell you exactly how universal it is. Oh, who's Mish? I'm on 3 platforms at once, boxing. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm talking to different online family members on different platforms who are interacting with me. So Mish just gave a wave over here on TikTok. But yeah, I mean, look, it's all about a spiritual awakening, and people come into our lives. Oh, you thought you were going crazy. No, it's because I'm on different platforms. So if you see me and I'm not responding to like certain comments that you see, it's because maybe I'm responding to other ones on other platforms. No, you're not going crazy. So Sarah, I'm glad you can identify with the cake analogy. The sad part about the cake analogy, and I've had this conversation many times, and Nick will attest to this. We've talked about it in detail. It's the idea that the universe dangles this carrot in front of you, and we want it. We want that satisfaction. So like we go after it, like we chase it, and then the universe kind of takes it away from us and then says, okay, now go get it. Go get it. You have that bliss for that short period of time, and then all of a sudden it just pulls it away from you and says, okay, you got a taste of this. You want this? You like this? Okay, now go get it. And it kind of forces you to make the moves. So that's why I'm always saying you've got to spark new energy. You've got to make moves. You've got to have boundaries and you have to put yourself first, because the more you overgive to it, the more you chase it, the more it's going to run away from you. And I've had to learn that the hard way. You know, I've had to learn to let people do what they need to do, even if it hurts me, you know, because it's not my journey, it's their journey. And if two people are meant to be together, they will be. Nothing that's meant for you is going to pass you by. You cannot mess something up that is yours. You could, look, you could say the most embarrassing things to that person, the most vulnerable things to that person, and they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to think you're a weirdo. They're probably going to be the same kind of weird, right? Yeah, Nick just said, yeah, universe can keep the carrot. I'll keep the stick. Perfect, perfect. Hi, Scott, how are you? How are things in North Carolina? So anyways, all of this is meant to wake us up, find ourselves, you know. Yeah, you like it when I say look? Look, let me put it to you this way. Or as some of you know how I say it on the full moon Zoom. Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. Can twin flames break apart and then reunite later in life? It's possible. The thing is, though, is that you have to remember this, okay? And I'll do my old school analogy, like when I first came on TikTok. You have two people, okay? And one person is here and one person is here. And it's not that somebody is better than or less than. Yeah, can I tell you something? Exactly, Mish. Mish loves it when I say, can I tell you something? It's not better than or less than, but the problem is that one person is here and one person's here and they're 10 steps ahead of the other. And I want to remind you, you can't get mad at the person who's here, as in like 10 steps behind you, because, oh, hold on. Sorry, I had a call try to come through, like a spam call try to come through. You can't get mad at the person when they're like 10 steps behind you, because of the fact that they don't know any better. And you didn't know any better either at one point, right? You didn't know any better. So I've had it where like sometimes I have to go back and remind myself, don't be frustrated and don't get angry when someone doesn't know, because how could they know? You didn't know once either. So the problem is that you're here and they're here. And they're either going to rise to meet you or they're not. So it often happens where you've got this hot and cold energy coming through, right? And you're allowing the behavior, you're allowing the hot and cold, the running, the chasing, the whatever. And when you decide that you're going to not do that anymore, one of two things happens. Oh, now the live is pausing because oh, sorry, Instagram. I might have to go out and come back in. You have to decide whether you're going to keep things going or you're going to like keep ascending. Because if you keep ascending, they're either going to rise to the occasion or they're not. But that's really what it comes down to. So your ex told you that she was your twin flame and now you know what she was talking about. Do twin flames have to talk or can one take a break? Well, oftentimes people do take a break. Hi, Deborah. Nice seeing you too. I mean, there's always this question of whether you should tell somebody, you know, you think you're twin flames. And I mean, again, I don't really like the label of twin flame because I think it gets overused and commercialized. But I will say that I believe for sure in deep soul connections and past life connections and people who come into your life for a reason. Oh, you thought the frother had resurrected for a moment. Oh no. Instagram keeps pausing. I might have to go out and come back in. I don't know. We'll see. If it does it one more time, I'll go out and come back in and restart the live. But anyways, does anybody else have any questions? I mean, I guess I haven't done like a Q&A in a while about these topics. It is good for us. Yeah, Daniel, the twin flame awakening is good for us. No matter what we want to call it, going through an awakening is probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I call it a reawakening because we're born awakened. This is not something This is not something that just suddenly, you know, comes out of nowhere. You were born awakened. It's just life got in the way and we forgot. And then we've had to learn some lessons. Hi, Roy. How are you? Thank you. So yeah, tell them about rapid fire. I haven't done that in a long time. Okay, I'm gonna go out of the live and come back in because Instagram is glitching. So my apologies. I'll be back. Okay, hold on, everybody. I gotta reset this up here. Yeah, it's kind of like the Matrix. I think we're better off not knowing. Is that what you're gonna say, or knowing? Okay. TikTok is having no problems. Yeah, it usually doesn't. Okay, we're back on Instagram now. Geez, the live was just cutting out too much. You have a crush on someone who says they're involved with someone, but a mutual friend said that the person doesn't give enough love and respect to the one that you have a crush on. The difficulty of that is people, when they jump from relationship to relationship, don't always heal in between. So I don't know if I'd want necessarily someone who hasn't taken some time to heal. Kelly, why does it take so long for a twin flame to come into union? Well, Deborah, they don't always come into union. That's the thing. They don't always come into union. What happens is people have to recognize that it's not about the relationship. It's about the person individually or the people individually. If two people are on the same page and achieve an inner union, then yes, it's possible. But if people are chasing and trying to force somebody or pull somebody up the cake, as I call it, then it's more than likely not going to happen or go there. As long as you're chasing somebody, they're going to run. People who are running can't run if you're not chasing. Yeah, twin flame journey is purpose driven, not always love. You know, so I think this is where it's a tricky topic because there's always a lot of commercialization of it. And look, anything is possible. Something you'll notice about my content, I can't control the cards that come out. Love readings, lovey vibes, but I will always ask you in those readings, what would it take for someone to come back correct? Make sure they come back correct. Make sure that they come with a plan. They're serious. They've done some therapy or some self-help, or they're self-aware, or whatever. Because the truth of the matter is, nothing can get better if we're not actively trying to get better. The thing is, you can't solve somebody else's problem. I mean, you can be there on the journey and you can support in some ways, but you can't necessarily do it for them. And I think that's the issue. So do I have to be someone's twin flame just because she said so? No, absolutely not. Boxing, absolutely not. I think the issue is when somebody is trying to, hi Robert, thank you. I think the issue is when somebody's trying to force another person to feel the same way. There's nothing more frustrating. If you've ever been in the position, and I don't know how many of you, of course you have a choice. Of course you have a choice. Everybody has a choice. I think what's frustrating, how many of you have ever been in a position where somebody has tried to force you into loving them or wanting to be in a connection with them? Okay, so Instagram's having some issues here. Again. There we go. Okay, we're back on. The connection has not been good on Instagram. But how many of you have been forced, right? Or somebody was trying to force you into something. Imagine the shoe being on the other foot. So let's say somebody says to you, "Hey, I'm not interested," or "Thank you, I'm flattered, but I'm not on the same page." the more you try to push someone or force it on someone, the more they're going to run away and the more they're not going to be interested. So it's the hardest thing to do, to let someone just be. Hi, Dwayne. Good afternoon. I don't like to be forced into anything either, Hollywood. I go the opposite way. If somebody is pressuring me too much, I completely go the other direction. You know? So I think that we all have to sort of ask ourselves, what is it like to be in the other position? I don't think it's a matter of being too young to have a twin flame. I think the issue is, do we have the capacity? It's not about age, it's about the capacity. You know? So if someone loves you, yeah, they'll come to you, Raven. Hi, Feeder. I'm well, thank you. How are you? And so chasing is where we get ourselves into trouble. You know, we start chasing somebody, forcing something, pushing something, when the person doesn't want to be pushed. You know, it's something where we have to respect it. Yeah, exactly. Catherine, Catherine. I know it's you, Kat. Kat, I know we're having Instagram issues. You have to respect their free will. Everybody has free will. And if they don't want to do something, they don't have to do it. You know, and I think that's the problem. So it's hard to do, but I mean, Robert, I've had to learn the hard way myself. I totally get it. There's nothing worse than when you want something so badly or you feel something so deeply, but it's not aligning. And there's nothing you can do other than to surrender and let go, let God, let the universe take the wheel. And if it is truly meant for you, like it will be, you know? I'm from Toronto, Canada. Yeah, Instagram's having issues tonight. Definitely having issues tonight. Oh, thank you so much, Mish. I appreciate it. So let's go back to the reading for a second. We've had a lot of deep conversations, and I don't mind doing that if you guys have questions. We kind of went off on a tangent tonight, but that's okay. Maybe we were meant to. But that's why you're confused. He says he's with someone, but his behavior towards me seems flirty, so I can't tell, does he like me or not? So, okay, Denise, I want to just make a point. If you're allowing that behavior, that means you're allowing yourself to accept somebody who's not free. That means you have to look at what you feel you deserve. Do you deserve better than that? Do you deserve somebody who can be with you? Right? And this is what the journey is all about, is learning our self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. Oh, thanks, Hollywood. I appreciate it. So just because somebody's flirting with you doesn't necessarily mean they have intentions to be with you. They can just be playing, right? And that doesn't mean they don't feel things for you, but that doesn't mean they're serious either, because somebody who's serious, they'll make it known. And Raven just said, I wish I listened to this advice. I think to some extent we've all been there, you know, where we didn't listen and we just wanted to pursue it, hoping that it would turn out or that it would be what we want. The issue is that it doesn't always go that way, you know? Okay, I'm gonna restart the live here for like the millionth time on Instagram. Let's see if I can get it going. I just restarted my phone. Oh, thanks, Mish. Okay, we're back for the millionth time on Instagram. We'll see how it goes. I think Instagram's having issues tonight. Yeah, poor Instagram people, I feel it. Let's see. We'll see what happens with Instagram. It's just very glitchy. Yeah, I don't know. It's very glitchy tonight, so I apologize. Hi, Anna. Hi, Marika. How are you? Mish says TikTok's better. TikTok has always been foolproof in the sense of like glitches. Yeah, I hope so too, Anna. I know, I'm sorry. It's been a glitchy live there on Instagram tonight. Am I watching the Leaf game? No, I'm on here with everybody. I don't have the game on. Let's just hope. Let's hope that the live doesn't get cut. The oak tree. Now, isn't it interesting, by the way? Look at these two cards. We have two trees. And the tree, oh, you just came home from dancing. Nice. How was it? Funny, I did a reading today about dancing. Hi, Susan. So 10 of coins and oak tree is about permanence. It's about commitment. It's actually Virgo energy, which is interesting. So the recent past, we've been like trying to like endure, you know, through the energy and push through. So, all right, let's take a look at the strength position. Oh, thank you so much, Feeder. That's very, very kind of you. Exactly, Nick. You're right. One in the hand is worth two in the bush. Okay. Love it. Okay, strength position, the tower. Well, there you go. A lot of you might be going through the transformative energies that have been coming through lately. Hi, Tarot. My kitty cat Tarot is here. Hi, baby boy. Do you want to come say hi? You want to come say hi to everybody? Is this a new thing you're doing? Okay. Okay. Hi, GT. Okay, 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 go, go. We had him for a moment. We had him for a moment. There we go. Okay, so the tower moment could be coming through for some of you. How many of you feel the major shift? I have two cats. I have two cats. Tarot's like hi and bye. Exactly. So let's see. The tower says painful transition. Oh, and the eclipse energy. Oh, I keep feeling the full moon in Virgo that's going to be coming up in Pisces season as important. That is March 3rd, hence 3-3. We already had 3-3 today in our reading. Union of opposites. Now, funny how we talked about how long it takes for people to come into union. You know, an eclipse is the sun and the moon coming together. And I mean, what is the sun and the moon? That's divine masculine and divine feminine coming together, right? You've been feeling an enormous shift. Yeah, it's coming for sure. You're feeling the shift in your body, Christine? Yeah, I think a lot of us are. It was good. It was good. Hi, Shell. Hi, Boobs. Let's take a look at the near future. Near future. 7 of Swords. Well, there's a mask that's going to be taken off. Something that's been hidden. You're feeling the transition in the body. Good. I do think that we're going to have some revelations coming through in the next little while where we're going to have to deal with some things, be honest about some things, be authentic. You know, on a personal level, on a self level. And with that, we have, things are changing. Exactly. So the mask is coming off. The authenticity is going to have to come through. You got it, Mish. You got it. So let's take a look at the suggested approach. Yeah, Boops. And you know what, to be honest with you, and I say this respectfully, I'm not saying this to you like specifically, but to your comment that says about time other people were, it's not even so much that other people need to be, we also need to be. Like if we want people to come correct, we have to come correct. If we want people to be honest, we have to be honest. If we want other people to be vulnerable, we have to be vulnerable. If we want people to be emotionally available, we have to make an effort to be emotionally available. And I know it's not easy. You know, I think that it requires a lot of willingness. You know, yeah, it's freeing ourselves, Anna, for sure. It's like everybody needs to make an attempt to take a step, to make a move, even a small move. Can I explain coming correct for the new ones? Yeah, that's something that, thank you, Michelle. It's almost like an interview. I like these questions. We haven't done this in a while where we have these kind of deep questions, Q&A sessions. Coming correct means that somebody is taking steps to improve their life. They're either going to therapy, they are reading self-help books, they're implementing, not just reading, they're implementing knowledge that they've learned. I always say knowledge is power, but what you do with that knowledge is even more powerful. As a teacher myself, I mean, I could know all the curriculum in the world, but if I don't implement, it means nothing. You can read all the books, you can watch all the videos, you can listen to me all you want. If you're not implementing that information, trying new things, then you're not at your full potential. You're not making your fullest effort to change something. And so even small steps, nobody says you're going to change the world overnight or change your life overnight, and nor should you. It's not about an overnight thing. Yeah, see one, do one, teach one. It really requires time, consistency, and effort. And the problem is that most people don't have patience. They don't have, and again, patience is not waiting. I can't tell you how many times a day I say that or repeat that, even when I'm filming videos. I think the concept is very foreign to people because they think that patience is waiting and looking at the clock and saying, but Kelly, I've been so patient. How much more patient can I be? Patient does not mean you sit there and you just watch somebody or you watch the clock. It's like watching paint dry or watching a pot of boiling water. What happens when you turn away from the pot of boiling water? The water starts boiling, right? If you're watching that pot of boiling water or waiting for it to get to that boiling point, you're going to wait a long time. It's going to feel like forever. But when you're chopping veggies or you're doing something else, you're talking on the phone, you're whatever, all of a sudden that water starts boiling, right? So you're right, Ken, self-awareness, it's very important. People have to be self-aware. And you're right, Steph. Like not only patience, but disciplined enough to push yourself forward. Who wants to do tough things? I don't know anybody who wants to go and do tough things. Yeah, let me go through an awakening. Ooh, self-improvement. Let me work through my wounds. Ooh, that sounds so fun and riveting on a Saturday night, right? Jill just said, I teach skating. Skaters need to be patient to learn skill. Exactly. You don't become an athlete overnight. You know what I mean? Like these are developed skills over time, Boots just said, I can't learn to drive a sports car watching Formula One. Yeah, you need to set the experience in a real car, no matter how fearful it may seem at first. Hi, Mare. How are you? No, but seriously, who wants to? Like, that's why we talk about the dangling of the carrot in the spiritual awakening or the twin flame journey. If somebody came to you and said, hey, hey, Kel, you wanna go through a spiritual awakening? Ooh, it's going to be real riveting. You're going to get Kundalini shakes. You're going to get dark nights of the soul. You're going to cry. Your whole world is going to crumble. Like nobody ever is going to do that unless they have something really specially, amazing dangling in front of them. Okay. Oh, thanks, Mish. I appreciate that. I'm well, thank you. It's just one of those things where like seriously, like nobody's gonna go and do it if they're told the truth. Oh yeah, you're gonna go through dark nights of the soul. You're gonna go through shit and back. You're gonna go to hell and back. Oh, you're gonna cry every day. You're gonna go through agony. People would rather have something dangled in front of them, such as romance, in order to make it better. But then the issue here is that it's still gonna hurt because you're gonna have to find yourself along the way. I'm so glad, Mish. I'm so glad. I try very hard. I want people to be happy and to find themselves and to find the love they desire and to work through the pain, because if I can do it, you can do it. And I wouldn't say my journey has been easy, but it's been amazing because I'm so happy right now, You're torn apart to be put back together. Exactly, Steph, exactly. So we want the best of the best of the best, Mish, and nothing less. I'm not dealing with that shit anymore, are you? Do you want to go back? I don't want to go back. I wouldn't go back. Listen, I wouldn't go back a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever age you are. Seriously, would you want to go back? Never. And when people do want to go back, you know what they want to go back to? They want to go back to a time before the shit hit the fan. And that's just not possible. It's just not possible. Because guess what? If you go back to when before the shit hit the fan, the shit's still going to hit the fan, right? How exactly are we getting torn apart asking for a friend? Well, Nick, in many ways. But yeah. That's a tough situation in style. I totally get it. Hi, Adrian. Thank you. So let's see. All right, suggested approach. I could talk to you guys for hours. I thought this was going to be a quick live. I'm laughing. I came on, I was like, oh, I'll come on for a quick live. And then it turned into like, and then it's okay. It's turned into like a deep conversation of many topics, right? You have to learn the lesson unless you want to repeat that cycle. No, thank you. Hi, Carmen. How are you? You got to go through the fog. You got it. I'm your therapist. I do the best that I possibly can. Hi, Carla. I do the best that I can. Deep, deep conversations, Mish. Deep. Aw, thank you, Anna. I love you guys too. So let's see. Suggested approach. 3 of coins. Didn't I talk about this earlier? Collaboration. I thought I was getting a quickie, but we're milking it for all it's worth. That's okay. That's okay, Nick. That's okay. That's okay. It's what I'm here for. It's what I'm here for. I can relax after. Who's Mish? And then I'm thinking, who's that girl, right? Madonna. that's the soundtrack in the background. That's true, Shell. But the problem is that most people don't know anything different. Shell just said, if you've had a shit life, you think you'd want to change that. The problem is that when people think that's the norm, they don't know that that's what you shift, right? So it's tough. It's really tough because not everybody is dealt a great hand of cards, right? Bye, Lucia. Have a wonderful night. Hi, Andrew. Yeah, it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. But some people get very angry at that, Mish. Because people will say, well, why did I deserve this or why did I deserve that? And of course, nobody deserves abuse. Nobody deserves bad things. The problem is that we accept certain behaviors. You know, we accept certain behaviors. Thank you, Ford Girl. I appreciate it. That's the issue. What's going on? That's the song on your mind? Yeah. Yeah, some people don't know any better, Ken. That's the issue. And I just had this conversation recently. I have a lot of compassion for people. I do. Even when it's stuff that's not so great. You know, as in like people who've treated me poorly. You know, where like, it's like, I don't like it, I don't condone it, but I can understand the behavior. But just because I understand the behavior does not mean I have to allow it or accept it into my life. And I think that's something I always want to share with all of you is that, look, there are people who are going to do things. They're going to say things. Not so good things. You can understand it. You can sympathize. Heck, you could even empathize. But it doesn't mean that you have to allow it or accept it in your life. And I don't have to accept anything that I don't want to. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to. And I think that is the lesson I've had to learn the hard way. I want to be kind to everybody. I want to give to everybody. I want to do my best for everybody. But the reality is that there are going to be times when I can't. And that's okay. And I'm not a bad person for that. And neither are you. And I think that we are always so guilted or manipulated into that kind of energy where people are going to try and manipulate the emotions to fit their agenda. Hi, Dale. And so I think that is a universal feeling that all of us go through. I mean, if I asked you right now, how many of you can identify with that? I guarantee you as human beings, as in the human condition, you will all raise your hand and say, yes, I have been through that. I have been manipulated. I have had my boundaries pushed. I have been forced. I have had, you know, this, that, or whatever. I guarantee you, every single one of us, right? And look at all of you saying it. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. And remember, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to, right? You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to focus on yourself. You know, I was getting my nails done today and I was speaking to the lady doing my pedicure. She was lovely. And we were talking about selfishness. And she said, you know, I'm not a fan of people being selfish. And I said, well, let's define selfish. Selfish is, it's okay to say no to someone. It's okay to have a boundary. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm going to take a nap today instead of doing all these favors for everybody else. That's not selfish. That's self-care. That's self-love, right? So if you're talking about selfishness in a positive way, that's good for you, as in like your self-care, nothing wrong with that. If we're talking about selfishness as in like manipulation, taking advantage, terrible behavior, well then absolutely. I don't like selfish either. But it really depends on your definition of selfish, right? Everything is going to be okay, Mish. It really is. You know, I think the lesson that I've learned throughout this whole process of awakening is that I don't have to put everybody ahead of me. I don't have to. I don't want to. And no offense to anybody, but like I don't have to. I don't owe anybody anything, and neither do you. That's really what it comes down to. Your boundaries are your boundaries for a reason, and if somebody cannot respect those boundaries, then that's not your problem. And you know, my mother would always say problem ownership. You know, we have to ask, whose problem is it? So Three of Coins is about building a foundation. And you know that I talk about the staircase analogy as well. I have a cake analogy, I have a staircase analogy, and there is, you know, 1 book, 2 books, 3 books. And I always talk about as you take a new step, you release an old step, right? And so therefore, you block the old energy and you take the step. That's it. Let go of the old energy. Block it out of your system. Let it go. Be open to new energy. Open yourself up. Hi, Happy Lad. Hi, Emerald. Yeah, pushing people off the stairs. No, we're not going to push people off the stairs. We're going to go up the stairs and let other people, you know, fall away from our life. Yeah. Okay. Heart and home, boundaries. 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 Security. Feeling good. Feeling good. All right, let's take a look at what do we need to know. Yeah, exactly, Josie. We're too aware of others' energy, everyone else's energy. We need to channel our own. I know you're joking. I know you're joking. We would never. We would never. So what do we need to know? 4 of Swords, healing, earned rest. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. That's all you can do. And if someone doesn't like that, it's too bad. Okay, so 4 of Swords and the sap. The sap is all about, in my opinion, when I see it, I think it's a little sappy, like a little bit emotional. But I also think that this says, you know, resources and nourishment. And when you need healing and relaxing in that 4 of Swords energy, you need nourishment. You need life force. You know? Oh, sorry, Hollywood, what was your question referring to? Have a good night, Ingalls. So let's see. Let's take a look at the hope and or fear. Oh, the last card, the sap energy. Resources. And 4 of Swords, and 4 of Swords. Hope and or fear. Page of Wands. You know, we hope to go on an adventure. We hope to throw caution to the wind, but we fear it all at the same time because it's the unknown. right? It's the unknown. People are so scared of what is going to happen. So they stay in a situation because it's what they know and what's comfortable. And yet it's not really so comfortable, right? So Page of Wands, curtain call, it's showtime. Yeah, choose your own adventure. I love those old books, right? Okay, and the probable outcome, Three of Cups, celebration. You're going to celebrate. You know what I always say to my students, and it's so funny that I've never said it on here, and I can't believe I've never really said it like this, because I say to my students, even when we're going through some tough times or like some irritations or, you know, like the usual classroom shenanigans, I always tell them one day we're going to laugh about this. Like one day we're going to laugh about this. And I have a student that kind of like, you know, takes his time to clear out every day because he's got his binder, he's got his computer, he's got his things, whatever. And he always says to me, one day we're going to laugh about this, right, miss? One day we're going to laugh about this. And he's such a good kid. He's a really good kid. It's so true. I do believe it. Like one day we're going to laugh about this. You say that too? You know, the reason why I know we're going to laugh about this is because in the moment, you know, we take things so seriously, or we think that it's such a make or break kind of energy. And in reality, is it really? Like, think about it this way. And I'm not saying money isn't important, but do you ever have one of those moments where you just don't want to spend let's say, like, you don't want to spend the $50, or you don't want to spend the $100, whatever it is, because you in the moment you're afraid, you know, you're like, I don't want to spend the money. And then many months later, or a year later, or years later, you look back and you're like, why didn't I just spend that $50? Like what was obviously I made it. Obviously it was okay. Why was I so afraid, or why was I living in that lack? You know, and it's back to what I said about we're gonna laugh about this someday. Why didn't we just push through it? You know, we're gonna look back and say, oh my gosh, how silly was I? You know, you've been in reflection mode. You laughed this week about the journey. I laugh. There's certain things, I'm not gonna lie, there's certain things that I laugh about like on a regular basis along this spiritual journey, where I said something or I did something and I think it's so hilarious. Now, it may not be hilarious to anyone else, but it's hilarious to me because I think you can't make this shit up. Like the universe has the biggest sense of humor, has the biggest sense of humor, you know? Like life's too short. Like what am I, gosh, like if I can't laugh at myself, what can I do? This says gleeful celebration, you know? I like that. You definitely can't make it up, Mish. I mean, really, you cannot. Can't be serious all the time. You have to laugh at yourself too. And I certainly do, very frequently. Hi, Tara, how are you? Or it wasn't hilarious at the time, and then you find yourself giggling about what you used to worry about. Of course. Sometimes you think the universe has a British sense of humor. It's possible. It's possible. You're going to have your celebration, Trish. You are. If I only knew your relatives. Hey, listen, I got some too. I think we all do. We all do. I know, Raven. I know you've been scared about your medical tests, and I'm sending you so much love. I know it's not easy, but you've got to stay positive, spark energy, do new things, regardless of whatever's happening medically. Try to keep yourself in the most positive of vibes. Now, we all know that not everything is going to be rainbows and butterflies every time, but finding ways to laugh and to be happy and to find joy in something or to have gratitude is very, very powerful. Very powerful. Hi, Virgo. Yeah, in-laws and outlaws. Everybody has their thing, right? Listen, we're all going to celebrate. We're all going to laugh one day. We're all going to feel a sense of relief. Yeah, exactly. Wishes going to Raven for your medical tests Everything is going to be okay. Mish just said, you're not your sickness or diagnosis. It's important to remember. You're welcome, Raven. You're welcome. Oh, thank you so much, Temperance Tarot. I appreciate it. Thank you for the subscribe. That means a lot to me. Bonjour, Mathieu. Ça va bien aujourd'hui? What are you doing tonight? So that Three of Cups is the celebration. Yes, Mish just said, sending positive vibes to our friend Raven about the medical tests. Absolutely. And see, look at that. We got the worry beads. Worrying is going to do nothing for your situation. And I don't mean you specifically, Raven, but yes, you know, including you, all of us. Worrying is going to do nothing. Worry about the things you can control versus the things you can't control. Raven said, thank you. It's not who you are, Sarah. Sarah said the same thing. That's what I try to tell myself. This is something that's happening to me medically, but it's not who I am. Right? It's not the definition of who you are. And I took another card, and of course, I know why. It said deeper meaning. Everything that happens for a reason. There is a deeper meaning to all of this. You know, I know it doesn't make it better when I say this. We have a soul contract. We have a soul contract. Right? And it's part of the journey. I don't know what to say other than it is part of the journey. Hi, Gina. I'm well, thank you. How are you? I know, me too. I love when the cards line up, for sure. For sure. But anyways, I really appreciate all of you. I'm going to get going. Like I said, we spent quite a bit of time together tonight, but that's okay. It's been lovely. And I appreciate you all so, so much. So, thank you so much, Anna. To you as well. You believe you're following your soul contract. I do too. You know, like I really look at this like this. I don't have any regrets. I have been through some of the shittiest of shit things, but I have no regrets. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm excited about the future. I'm taking it day by day. I would not want to control anything anymore. And when you get to that point, boy, you feel a lot of peace. Hi, Maria. Oh, I love you too. And Maria, you're part of that for me too. When I was going through that time, you were there to listen to me. And now I feel so different and so much better. And that's what this is all about. So your timing of coming in here, Maria, is like perfect because at that time in my life, you really helped me. And so I'm so appreciative of that. So that's what I strive for with everybody in here. I want everybody to find their journey, their happiness, their love, right? Oh, you're amazing too. That's because we're Soul Tribe, my friend. We're Soul Tribe. I love you too, Mish. Thank you. Yes, we laugh, we talk, we do a lot of deep things. I mean, you know, Maria, isn't it so true in your experience as well, I'm sure, not to speak for you, but the people that you meet along the way, it's amazing how it shapes you. I mean, when I think of when I met you, Maria, I met you like probably 10 years ago at this point, you know, almost 10 years, 8 years ago, maybe. Isn't that crazy? And then I think about like where things have gone in that time. Hi, Diane. Hi, Eva. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, Anna. Yes. I know it's coming up very soon. Hi, Jojo. How are you? How are things in Sydney? Me too, Shell. Me too. Thank you. You're a beautiful soul too. Oh, thank you so much, Just Jay. I appreciate it. So, yeah. And you met me through Pam. Yeah, through Pam Sears. I love Pam. Pam is an amazing psychic medium. She's so kind. She's got amazing stories. She's ethical. So yeah, Trish, isn't it funny how we meet through, yeah, you're a moderator for her. I love Pam. I think she's a beautiful soul. She is a beautiful soul. Hi, Belle. Hi, Wendy. You're in Melbourne. Amazing. Oh, thanks, Boops. I appreciate it. I always like seeing you, and I appreciate your kindness. I'm so glad to hear that, Trish. She shares a lot of her own story, and I think that's why, you know, there's that connection, you know? Thanks, Maria. I mean, sharing stories is how we grow and how we heal and get better. And, you know, like I said, Maria was one of my teachers and helped me. And she helps a lot of people. So I totally get how this journey works. You meet people for a reason, right? Yeah. I'm so happy, Matt. Oh, hi, Karma Kittens. Hi, baby. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Let's show everybody my little baby. Gretchen's baby. It was 2 years ago that Gretchen passed this week. And now I got this little bugger. Ella, it's your girl. Yeah, baby Gretchen. I call her Gigi sometimes. Gigi is Gretchen's girl. But Gretchen didn't like to be held. Gretchen didn't like to be held. Oh, I'm so glad, Diane. And so, hi, now you're jealous, Taro? You hear Taro meowing in the background? You're here now, I see. You don't like that I'm holding your girlfriend. You want me to hold you, but then you run away. Yeah, I've got, they're definitely boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm a third wheel in this relationship. But yeah, this is my little baby Karma. She does like to be held. She likes to be held. But she doesn't like to sit on my lap. She's not one to sit on the lap. Not yet. I'm waiting for that day. All right, I gotta run. You heard that meow in the background? That was Taro meowing. All right, my friends. Yeah, it's a love triangle, Mare. It is. Well, I have to eat something, Mish. And I do have some videos that